Hi, I'm Mike Heidebrink, president of Cheng Concrete, here for Concrete Network. This is our outdoor living series made from Cheng DFRC. Let's get to work and see how these things are made. What I've got in here is the casting blend, mixed a little on the wet side, and I've tinted it with the DFRC Smart Color green tea pigment to match the tabletop. I'm going to go ahead and spray this into the mold about an 1/8 of an inch thick on this first pass. Our second passes will beef it up to maybe 1/4 inch at a time. All right. While I was spraying, you might have noticed that quite a bit of this material was running on these vertical walls, trying to slide down. That's because the material that I had mixed up was a little on the wet side, and I was spraying too heavy of a coat onto these vertical surfaces too quickly, basically. So the timing issue comes into effect here, where if your material's a little thinner or runnier, you're going to want to spray it up in thinner applications than I did here. But at this point, we really can let this stand for 5 to 10 minutes, let it firm up and get a nice set to it, and then I can come back over it and spray on additional layers. For this project, we want to have as few air bubbles as possible. So in order to ensure that we minimize the amount of air bubbles on the surface, I'm going to use just a simple disposable chip brush and lightly brush the surface to work out any air bubbles that might be trapped between our cement or the DFRC and the surface of our form. I'm doing this very, very lightly, not very, very firm pressure at all. You can see how the more, if I use a lot of pressure, it'll force or agitate the material hanging on these vertical surfaces enough that it'll actually start them to sag and run. You can see that there. So if that happens, just step away and give it some time to set up a little bit. But on these horizontal surfaces back here, I can do some brushing while I wait for these vertical areas to set up. So this is the second half of the mold that we're going to be seaming together. I've already applied my first coat of material, and now I'm going to come back and do the second coat. Typically, we would do this an additional 3 or 4 times until we had built up a thickness on this form of a 1/2 inch or more. At that point, then, we'd be ready to seam the pieces. Okay, at this point, I've got 3 coats of the casting blend sprayed onto my form, but I want to check on this rim to see how thick of a buildup I have. On this top, I want to make sure that I'm at least a 1/2 inch thick before I before I complete the spray application of the casting blend here. But a good way to check is I'm just going to go ahead and cut this material off. And you can see, it looks like I'm about 3/8 of an inch thick here. So that tells me I'm going to want to have a couple more coats sprayed on here. This material's still pretty wet, so we're going to let this set for about 10 minutes and then come back to it. The details for this mold can be found online. I'm Mike Heidebrink with Cheng Concrete. Thanks for watching.